Part 4. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 31. Being praised by others will make you feel better unconsciously, especially if you are a girl, especially a girl with good looks. Lin Yu was not the exception, with a smile on her face. There were many wild vegetables in the basket, and she also found mushrooms and 3 fish. These mushrooms are not poisonous, Lin Yu laughed. Xiaoi heard that he was joking, so he puffed out his chest and said confidently, "Of course not." There was no sound afterwards. Xiaoi looked at Lin Yu again and found that he was looking at. Because of the wet clothes, and Xiaoi inadvertently puffed out her chest, the hormones of the girl attracted Lin Yu unceremoniously, which really made people unable to look away. Suddenly, Xiaoi's face swished red to the root of his neck, and he quickly turned sideways and lowered his head. Lin Yu also realized that he was distracted, so he apologized to Xiaoi, "Sorry, I'm really sorry, Apart from saying words like sorry or sorry, he really didn't know how to say this. Now his mind was blank. From Lin Yu's perspective, the girl's red ears can be seen, and she looks even cuter with her head down. Slap! Lin Yu slapped himself. Xiaoi turned around when he heard the sound, but he still looked down. Lin Yu, no. It's okay, brother Lin Yu, I don't blame you. It's Xiaoi's fault. Xiaoi shouldn't have raised that place. Xiaoi forgot that his clothes were wet. Does Xiaoi have a good figure? Stop, stop, stop. Don't say it, if you keep talking, I'll really. Lin Yu felt that his self-control was not good, so he stopped it quickly. Things didn't go as he expected. Who knew that the girls in the tribe would be so straightforward and ask directly if it looked good? Was it a game of playing hard to get, or was it going to develop a plot of playing hard to get? He wanted to ask, who was affected by this? In this situation, Lin Yu felt a little hot all over, so he hurriedly said, "I'll go in front, you follow me." He quickly walked forward to keep a distance, as if avoiding monsters and ghosts. Xiaoi's face was still red, but she showed a faint smile. After returning to the castle, Zuzi had not returned yet. Lin Yu took a basin of water to wash his face. He did not expect that he would come out like this when he went out to find someone. He did not expect the following scene. He had never seen a Chinese girl in the 21st century like this. After Lin Yu and the others left, the barbecue was handed over to the Brothers of the Wood. They had eaten half of the wild boar at this time. The wild boar was at least 400 kilograms. The inedible parts were more than 200 kilograms of meat, which was enough for everyone. These people could not calculate the appetite of ordinary people. Lin Yu had a system. Upgrading would improve all aspects of the body's quality and also increase the appetite. As for these original indigenous residents, Lin Yu did not know them, but he could rely on his own strength to kill from the periphery to here. He had already classified these people as characters in fantasy novels. Eating dozens of kilograms of meat was not surprising. Xiaoi changed into a strange outfit from their tribe, which was one piece, and seemed to be made of many pieces of cloth. The colors were white, green, and red, and she wore a bone-tooth necklace. Lin Yu took a look and didn't know what words to describe it. When she walked by Lin Yu, she greeted him in a low voice, then got a stone pot, built a fire and started to make her vegetable fish soup. She ate a piece of barbecue. Well, Zuza's cooking skills were still good. Sitting under the shade of the tree and watching Xiaoi's busy back not far away, Lin Yu had an urge to go over and help, but stopped. A second before he had this idea, he suddenly thought of a question: is this considered like? Lin Yu could not deny that Xiaoi's cuteness and liveliness, which was different from all the girls he had seen in China, attracted him. In addition, the glimpse of Xiaoi by the pool was a cliché, but his mind couldn't stop thinking about it. After all, he was still a teenager. Although he had experienced some experience in the jungle, he didn't improve much in terms of getting along with people. Lin Yu had watched some romantic movies and TV series. Although he was young, he also had his own set of ideas. After thinking about it, he didn't think it was love. Lin Yu felt that there were two reasons for this impulsive idea. One was the novelty, and the other was desire, which was the instinctive desire of males for females. Finally, he cut a few slices of barbecue with a knife and brought them over, and then chatted, just like before, as if he had forgotten the embarrassing things before after coming back. Not long after, Zuza came back, and after seeing Xiaoai and Linyu busy, he shouted, "Where did you go? I found the foot of the mountain along the road and didn't see you." Xiaoai was about to answer, but Lin Yu got ahead of her. "I caught a fish and accidentally wet my clothes, so I just took a shower." "Okay, but did you change your clothes?" Zuzi hesitated for a moment, and then the fire of gossip burned on his face. "Yes, the clothes are wet, don't change and wear wet clothes," Xiaoai glared at him. Yes, it has to be changed, it really has to be changed, ha ha ha." Zuzi walked over, and his words always made people feel that they had a second meaning. Xiaoai snorted and ignored him directly. Zuzi continued to make barbecue. Not long after, the wild vegetable fish soup was also cooked. There was not much, and several people took the bowls that had just been made of wood and ate with relish. "This fish soup is delicious. Speaking of it, this is the best fish soup I have had in this period of time." It was indeed, because this was the only time he had fish soup in this period of time. "Really?" Xiaoai smiled and had joy in his eyes. Lin Yu nodded and said, "I want another bowl." Zuzi saw Xiaoai's expression and pretended to say, "Really?" Everyone laughed, and Xiaoai threatened Zuzi fiercely, asking him to eat barbecue and not drink soup. Zuzi then changed the subject and asked about the human city. Lin Yu also opened his heart. He felt that this place was like a gathering of old friends. Everyone had no scruples and joked casually, but the invisible sense of propriety made people feel that the line of friendship was connected to everyone. "This milk tea, many people like to drink it, but I don't recommend Xiaoai to drink it." "Why?" As they talked, they came to the thing that everyone was interested in, eating. "Why?" "Because it will make you gain weight." Ha ha ha. Is this a joke? Lin Yu didn't quite know what the city built on the alien beast continent looked like, but he could make some rough guesses based on the time when the previous 3 generations had traveled through it. He was in high spirits at this time, so he would make up something even if he didn't understand it. The 4 of them listened attentively. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji-Sheng Chang. Chapter 32. In the evening, the tribe friends who were very familiar with each other played by themselves. Lin Yu rode his horse to the opposite mountain and went directly to the mine. He put all the 18 fire dogs in the fire attribute crystal mine. Among the 18 dogs, 6 were intermediate level and the rest were all elementary level. The fire element here was frighteningly dense. Lin Yu took in so many dogs because he thought of this place. He was looking forward to what these fire dogs would become after a period of growth. It was completely dark. From this side, the castle opposite was hidden in the woods. There was a little light inside. It was hard to imagine what was inside. Under the night, people lit a bonfire. Yun Qi woke up and his injuries improved a little. Zuzi told Lin Yu some things about the tribe. Lin Yu was mainly curious about what he said holy power. Zuzi sat down and talked to Lin Yu, eating fruit while talking, and said that the fruit was good. Their tribe is called the Holy Sword Tribe. Most of the tribe members use swords. In the Holy Sword Tribe, people are considered adults at the age of 12. Every year, sacrifices are held. All boys and girls over the age of 12 must participate. The most important thing is that there is a condition for participating in the sacrifice, that is, you must kill a strange beast before the sacrifice. For example, Lin Yu is 12 years old, and the sacrifice is held tomorrow. He must kill a strange beast tonight. The tribe strictly requires that he must kill it by himself. If he is found cheating, he will be expelled from the Holy Sword tribe directly. The boys and girls who participate in the sacrifice will have a chance to be favored by the Holy Spirit. The power of the Holy Spirit will enter the human body and manifest in it. Some are arms, some are eyes, and some are legs. Yun Qi is the only one in the 6-person team who has the power of the Holy Spirit. His power of the Holy Spirit is manifested in his nose. Zuzi used a knife to carve a wheelchair for him. Yun Qi was unwilling to sit on it, but in fact, sitting on the chair is the same, except that the wheelchair can be pushed. Wheelchairs are called dam holes in the Holy Sword department. For a moment, Zuzi and Yunkai argued, completely ignoring the two of them, as if they had long been accustomed to this matter. Yunkai was not only injured externally, but actively using all the power of the Holy Spirit would make this power disappear directly, and it would cause unimaginable damage to the body, just like if you let a child pick up a 30-kilogram dumbbell, the child might break his hand or even his foot. The power of the Holy Spirit is far more than that. Yunkai was able to wake up today because of his strong body. In addition to physical damage, there is also spell damage. Losing the power of the Holy Spirit may be a blow to him. After all, having the power of the Holy Spirit is a very proud thing and a glory, especially when the power of the Holy Spirit is also reflected in the relatively niche nose. But the crowd didn't see this idea in Yun Qi for the time being. Xiaolabo hinted at it, and Yun Qi said, "It's my responsibility to save everyone. Besides, what other options were there? If I die, you must inherit my will and become a good detective." Xiaolabo quickly stopped him from saying anything else and glared at him fiercely. Yun Qi gently pulled her and motioned her to come over. Yun Qi said something in Xiaolabo's ear, and Xiaolabo was surprised again. Her eyes were full of mixed emotions, and then her face reacted and turned red. Zuzi took the lead in making trouble. Xiaolabo was actually a generous girl. She thought about it, faced the burning eyes of the crowd, stood up straight, turned her head and looked down at Yun Qi, and said, "What if I don't agree?" Yun Qi smiled when he heard this. He paused, then, "Get out." Yun Qi. Little Radish's almond eyes were wide open. Not far away, people were eating fruits, playing with monkeys, playing with knives, and looking over there from time to time, with a smile on their lips. This day, Lin Yu thought, was the slowest day since he came here. Maybe it was because many things happened, he met new friends, fought, and subdued many strange beasts, and he had a lot of things to think about. On the watchtower, Lin Yu opened a big hole on the top to see the scenery. "You must not come here on rainy days. The stars in the sky are twinkling. In fact, you can also see them on the small city wall, but maybe it is closer to the sky and the stars." Soon, Xiaoai found him and the two talked a lot. Xiaoai had never been to the human city, so the topic came up. Lin Yu talked nonsense, some of the things he saw and heard on the blue planet, and then added words. It became a story. Lin Yu lied that he had dreamed of a place with tall buildings, called Blue Star, where there were many countries and many beautiful places. Xiaoai talked about the things in the tribe. It was terrible when a girl chattered non-stop. She could really talk to you all night. When you first met, because of the novelty, you didn't know each other, so you had endless topics to talk about. Many people regarded this as so-called love, or even ridiculous love. When people know someone, they will miss the time when they first met him. That was the time when the hormones of boys and girls could burst out the most. If life could only be like the first sight. July 1st, 5202, the third era of the alien beast calendar. The system showed such a date. Lin Yu received an email from the system after reaching level 20. He watched the scenery too late last night and had forgotten that he had a system. Lin Yu clicked on the email. Warrior, you have passed the test and have the ability to protect yourself in the alien beast continent. The gods will bless you. In addition, the wonderful world is gradually unfolding to you. The name of this email is, To the Warrior. Swiping down, there are two more emails, one called Battery of the Unknown Knight. The other called Symbol of the Warrior. Lin Yu first clicked on the Battery of the Unknown Knight. This name obviously has other meanings. In addition, the previous email said that the world is gradually unfolding. Could this excitement be some kind of crisis? And the Battery of the Unknown Knight is a special supply given by the system to the players who first reach level 20. Thinking of this possibility, Lin Yu stared at the text above with some urgency and began to read. The night will cover the entire earth, and light may be the embodiment of darkness. This sentence popped up first, and there is a confirmation option in the lower right corner. Click it. Congratulations on getting the Mist Compass. Special treasure, Mist Compass. Introduction: in the darkness, this is the only thing that can bring people a little sense of security. It's all vague and mysterious. I can't help but wonder what the so-called darkness refers to. Fog compass. Lin Yu took this thing out of his backpack. It was very heavy to hold, and there was no instruction on how to use it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji-Sheng Chong. Chapter 33. The third email contained. Bone dagger, it can be an ornament or a weapon. Little love heart, the system cares about you, the specific function is unknown. This ghost system likes to send some strange things. Since I have bound the god level beast taming system, but these two systems are actually one and the same, because the function is to tame beasts. The so-called god level means that you will get some things when you upgrade, and you will get prompts when you encounter strange beasts. Apart from that, there seems to be no other functions. Lin Yu looked at his ranking and found that he had dropped to 63rd. Last time he remembered that he seemed to be 38th, and the first place was still a 19th level player. It has only been a few days, and I have reached level 20, but my ranking has not risen, but has fallen. How fierce is the competition? Lin Yu felt that if he did not work hard, he might fall out of this peak survival list. That gold level defensive weapon is indeed tempting, and it has a life-saving effect. It is also a show-off. Players have worked hard to upgrade, and he seems to be unable to keep up with the trend of the times. Upgrading is the right thing. When players arrived at the city, they no longer worried about survival, so they began to think about how to upgrade quickly. Then, Lin Yu's ranking kept falling, all the way down to more than 60. If this continued, he really wouldn't be able to get a gold level weapon. He hadn't touched this thing yet, and didn't know what it felt like. At level 20, the calendar function was unlocked. It was miserable to say that there was no calendar function before level 20. It was quite realistic to think about it. He didn't even know what day it was. Lin Yu suddenly felt the feeling of the game. Many people died in a level. The people who died would not know how the people above felt. They seemed to have no right to know the time. This was miserable. Of course, many players found the city, and the so-called calendar was no longer important. There were many more things in the store. There were also more blacksmith shops and clinics. With blacksmith shops, people could make their own weapons and no longer buy standard weapons from stores. However, after seeing the prices, Lin Yu felt that the number of people using standard weapons would probably not decrease. The so-called making your own weapons does not mean that you use a hammer to forge iron, but that you find a forger in a blacksmith shop. You can provide the raw materials yourself and come up with your own ideas. There are levels for forgers. The higher the level, the higher the skill and the higher the hiring price. The price list of the lowest level hammer master is as follows. Silver level, bring your own raw materials, ordinary quality 30,000 survival coins, fine quality 60,000 survival coins, artifact quality 160,000 survival coins. This is still the lowest level hammer master. Lin Yu thinks it is expensive. After all, making a fine quality silver weapon requires buying a standard weapon, and this is still the case with raw materials. Lin Yu has not considered the blacksmith shop for the time being. Then he clicked on the medical clinic, which not only sells various finished medicines, but also raw materials. The rich variety makes Lin Yu smack his mouth. After buying several necessary medicines, Lin Yu clicked on the store that has been upgraded for countless times. It is not surprising that the 20th level will increase the goods. This is a good thing. Lin Yu looked down for a long time. This is the shop. The lower you go, the more expensive the things are, and the fewer people buy them. Consumables, Fi pill. Detailed description, it can be used by both humans and alien beasts, and it will randomly upgrade to level 710. It can only be taken once. Price, 200,000 survival coins. It's so expensive. No wonder no one bought it. Lin Yu gathered together and spent 200,000 to buy a Fi pill. Seeing that the survival coins disappeared in an instant, he felt a little distressed. After some thought, Lin Yu decided to give it to the earth-shaking bear. Xiaojin, the earth-shaking bear, is level 23. If he takes Fi pill, he will be level 30 at the worst. At that time, he will advance to a high-level alien beast, which is Lin Yu's first high-level alien beast. In order to avoid making too much noise, he came to the forest and gave Fi pill to Xiaojin. It takes time for the drug to dissipate, and Lin Yu waited for a while. The earth-shaking bear roared, and the drug came, and every strand of its brown hair seemed to tremble. This state lasted for half an hour, and Xiaojin's body began to shrink, from more than 11 meters to only 7 or 8 meters tall, and became thinner. This shrinking process lasted for an hour. Another hour later, Xiaojin's hair changed from brown to light gold. The transformation was complete. Lin Yu looked at Xiaojin's information panel. Exotic beast, Earthshaker bear, mutation, high level 0, level 30. Seeing this number, Lin Yu felt very accomplished, and he witnessed this process with his own eyes. After transforming into a high-level exotic beast, all aspects of the Earthshaker bear's attributes have been greatly improved. As for speed, it is still at the bottom of the high-level exotic beasts. Of course, compared with the past, it is much better. Lin Yu stood on Xiaojin's shoulders and went down the mountain. As for the friends on the top of the mountain, let them play by themselves. The purpose of his going down the mountain was mainly to try the power of the Earthshaker bear. The sky was clear at this time. In the forest, Xiaojin habitually used the tree trunk as a weapon. Lin Yu really thought that he should make a weapon for it, and the attack power would be greatly improved. But the money was spent on upgrading, so let's discuss this matter later. This time, Lin Yu went directly to the depths of the Qinggu Mountains. Not long after, he encountered a mid-level beast. This beast sensed the breath of a high-level beast and did not flee but took the initiative to welcome the guest. Use the skill of splitting the earth. After upgrading to a high-level beast, Xiaojin has one more skill, and now it has 4 skills. This new skill is earth splitting. After receiving the order, the Earthshaker bear slammed its claws on the ground in front of it. A heavy muffled sound spread around, and the earth cracked into countless cracks, like a broken mirror. The speed at which the cracks spread was so fast that the middle-level beast was directly swallowed by the earth. Lin Yu nodded silently. This move was a bit overkill against the middle-level beast. The Earthshaker bear itself has the earth element, and this move earth splitting may not be as simple as it seems. Lin Yu continued to move forward. He held the map and calculated the distance. They were not far from the red area. The sword-shaped peak was at the junction of purple and red. Only high-level beasts can reflect the strength of the Earth-shaker bear. Lin Yu went to great lengths to do this, but he was not arrogant. He was very calm. He did this just to recognize his own strength. A high-level exotic beast, the Iron Bear, has appeared. Please be careful. Wow, I'm flattered to see such thoughtfulness and concern for a high-level exotic beast, Lin Yu muttered to himself. Unexpectedly, the opponent was also a bear. However, the bloodline of this bear was obviously not as good as that of the Earth-shaker bear. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji-Sheng Chang. Chapter 34. What follows is a fight between bears and bears. Bears are alien beasts with low intelligence. Even if they have grown to the level of high-level alien beasts, they are still lagging behind ordinary humans. Alien Beast, Iron Bear High Level 1, Level 31. Qualification, General. Skills, Iron Body, Fury, Broken Hands. Iron Body, increase defense by 20%. Rage, increase all attributes by 10%. Broken Hand, the arm can be extended freely within 1 minute, the arm attack power is increased by 1000 points, and it has penetration properties. It cannot be used again within 3 days. The first 2 skills are ordinary, but the third skill, which is the skill obtained by Iron Bear after transforming from mid-level to high level, is very powerful. It extends freely, increases the attack power by a huge amount, and also has penetration. If used, strange beasts at close range may not be able to escape. With a roar that shook the sky, the 2 bears greeted each other and then started fighting. In an instant, the Iron Bear used the skills Iron Body and Rage. The Earth-shaking bear's skills are all offensive skills. Tear increases strength by 10%. Anger increases all attributes by 20%. Then use Claw to directly ignore defense within the same level. The 2 giant beasts collided together. After approaching a certain distance, the Iron Bear used the skill Broken Hands, and his arms lengthened and he directly grabbed the Earth-shaking bear's chest. They look like 2 big flying snakes, with long sharp claws on their heads. Lin Yu was on the side, chewing the bitter grass again without realizing it. The Earth-shaking bear roared, and one of the flying ones was caught by it, and it was directly cut into pieces of minced meat. The blood mist filled the air, and the other claw of the Iron Maniac Bear grabbed the Earth-shaking bear's chest and clawed it out. A deep and huge wound. Blood flowed down like a stream, staining a large area red. Exchanging injuries for injuries was obviously a bigger loss for the Iron Man Bear. His hand was broken, and the pain caused it to roar, almost crazy. The Earth-shaking bear rushed over with a fierce momentum. After being subdued by Lin Yu, he had not fought like this for a long time. The main reason was that Lin Yu was very cautious, cautious. The Iron Bear's eyes were red, but its previously invincible trick was now ineffective, and the Earth-shaking bear was approaching again. He had iron skin, and the Earth-shaking bear had the smashing skill that ignored defense. The 2 fought for a while, and the Iron Bear had more and more wounds. The smell of blood filled the forest. At the back, the Iron Skin Bear's will to fight was broken. Although Xiao Jin also had a few scars on his body, his iron skin was almost ripped off. No matter who he was, he felt that he could not fight and had to escape. The Earth-shaking bear kept chasing and beating him. From this battle, the importance of bloodline was highlighted. The Earth-shaking bear is level 30 and has just transformed into a high-level alien beast today. The Ironhide Bear is level 31 and is being chased and beaten by the Earth-shaking bear with all his strength. Although the difference is only 1 level, even if the Iron Skin Mad Bear is a few levels higher, it may not be able to beat the Earth-shaker bear. The Earth-shaking bear can become an alien beast lord when it reaches adulthood, while the Ironhide Bear is only a high level 1 at best. An adult ferocious iron bear was beaten by an underage earth-shaking bear with numerous scars. What matters among the alien beasts is their bloodline. The higher the bloodline, the more powerful the innate skills will be. A dozen with a high bloodline has almost a 100% chance of winning, and some even have a dozen with a dozen or so and won't lose. This was the first time for Lin Yu to see a high-level alien battle. As soon as they met, the iron-skinned bear broke off one of his hands. There was no suspense in the subsequent battle. Lin Yu went up and gave the final blow. He regretted it. The iron bear died, and its huge body fell down. Immediately afterwards, 2 system prompts sounded. Congratulations to the host for killing the high-level alien beast, unlocking the achievement, New World, and rewarding unlimited bronze-level beast control capsules. The first player to kill high-level alien beasts is born. He is a warrior and the most enthusiastic player. He received another email, but Lin Yu didn't click on it. A strange thing happened. He had just put the body of the iron bear into his backpack and was checking the system prompts. Xiao Jin was walking forward, and kept walking. When it had walked a certain distance, Lin Yu realized that Lin Yu called it, but it actually ignored it, and its brows gradually wrinkled. This is very wrong. The connection between Xiao Jin and it comes from the beast control capsule, and the beast control capsule is given by the god-level beast control system. In fact, the so-called silver level and bronze level are just an increase in the conquering range, and there is nothing else. Are different. It shouldn't be a problem with the beast control capsule. Lin Yu ruled it out, and then he chased after him. Now he was full of doubts. Today was so abnormal. This kind of thing had never happened before. So many strange beasts, all loyal. 100%, could it be that he was too excited to kill a high-level alien beast and caused brain problems? Lin Yu kept calling Xiao Jin, but Xiao Jin ignored him and kept walking forward, gradually increasing his speed. After passing through a dense forest, Lin Yu was blocked by a mid-level alien beast. After releasing the Changmu forest lion, he looked up and saw that the earth-shaking bear was gone. Lin Yu rode the Changmu forest lion and chased him forward. He got lost, and the earth-shaking bear searched for a long time but couldn't find him. This area was unfamiliar, and after searching for a long time without success, Lin Yu suddenly felt regretful. After breaking out of the tall shrubs, a large grassland appeared in front of me. Several deer were eating by the river. After seeing a lion, they ran away quickly. Opposite the grassland is another forest. Lin Yu clearly saw a huge footprint outside the forest, and the bushes also showed signs of being stepped on. Lin Yu followed the traces and entered the forest, not far away. In front, several figures stood with their backs. They seemed to be wearing animal skin clothes, and Xiao Jin stood beside them, leaving only Lin Yu's majestic figure behind. Lin Yu put taking away, fearing that he would scare off the grass and scare the snake. While hiding behind a tree, he observed. There were 3 people in total, all wearing animal skin clothes. The way they dressed was somewhat similar to Chinese Tibetans, with one arm exposed. After observing for a while, these 3 people must be talking or dancing. The next moment, a man walked up to Xiao Jin and raised his hand. Lin Yu's eyes widened because Xiao Jin also raised his hand, even the raised arm was the same. Lin Yu now had no other emotions except surprise, and his mind was blank. The man raised his legs again, but he couldn't stand still. His body swayed twice before he stabilized his body. The earth-shaking bear simply made an enlarged version of its movements, and they were exactly the same. If Xiao Jin was also a human, a comparison would show that they were completely replicated. An idea suddenly popped into Lin Yu's mind. Could they also control beasts? Although I don't know what method they used, I saw it with my own eyes when they controlled Xiao Jin. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 35. These three people may be natives of the strange beast continent, and it is so dangerous to come to Kinggu Forest, maybe they live here. They used a strange way of taming beasts to control Xiaojin, and they did it in front of Lin Yu. You should know that Xiaojin was subdued by the god-level beast taming system. Xiaojin ran away just when Lin Yu checked the system information. And Lin Yu didn't even see their faces. The method was so clever that he had never seen it even in fantasy novels. The native standing opposite Xiaojin should be testing something. He jumped again in the end, and Xiaojin also jumped. Because it was too heavy, his legs sank into the ground. Then, the native seemed to grin and talk to the other two natives. In the end, he walked in front, followed by the other two, and Xiaojin followed behind, moving in one direction. Lin Yu followed him. It is said that the unknown is the most terrifying. He did not know the other party at all. He only knew that these natives could control the beasts, and their methods were very strange. In addition, they were dressed like primitive people. If they had the ability to control high-level beasts in Kinggu Mountains, they must have other abilities. Most of his strength came from the beasts, and it was not certain whether he would be controlled if he released the beasts. Even if the probability was very small, Lin Yu did not want to try. The beasts that were subdued with the beast taming capsule seemed to have a subtle relationship with him. They were not like master and servant, but more like relatives. Like relatives who had not seen each other for a long time. At first, it was unfamiliar, but the beast taming capsule seemed to really bring out such a feeling. After the word responsibility emerged in his mind, Lin Yu no longer felt hesitant. Of course, Lin Yu could leave Xiaojin behind, but he could imagine that after he went back, he might succeed and become a hegemon in this world. At that time, he would remember that there was a bear following him. It was a big, silly bear who liked to pull trees and got angry easily. He would remember how he looked, and he would feel uneasy. Who could tell what would happen in the future? Lin Yu might forget it and force himself to forget it, but that was not what he wanted to be. So he moved forward. He had to move forward. The wind blew his hair back. De Qing was much faster than them, but what made Lin Yu feel strange was that they should have discovered him. Several natives did not look back, and Xiaojin did not look back either, but just walked forward mechanically. Lin Yu was ready, and the power of the wind blade was condensed in his palm. When the distance was close, he shouted loudly, if they attacked him, then he would fight back. However, De Qing did not have time to break, and was about to hit one of the natives directly. The native seemed not to hear it. I'm going to crush you to death. Buzz. The world slowly turned white, everything was white. After a few breaths, the white slowly faded away. During this time, Lin Yu couldn't think of anything, as if his brain was controlled by someone else. When the white completely faded, he was still thinking about what happened just now, and the scene around him had changed. Surrounded by excavated stone walls, he was tied to a wooden frame. Before he could react, a man came towards him, one of the three natives. Lin Yu wanted to speak, but he couldn't make any sound. Everything was too strange. He struggled, and the wooden frame was shaking. The strength of this thing was beyond imagination. The native said nothing and took out a whip from his waist, a thorn whip. Lin Yu seemed to have guessed his intention and struggled more fiercely. Wow! The whip flew over, and the sound of breaking the air was suffocating, followed by severe pain. The clothes were directly torn, stinging, and the burning sensation went straight into the heart. Lin Yu's facial features were twisting, sweat was oozing from his pores, and blood was flowing down from the wound. The pain wanted him to make a sound, but he couldn't. Everything was too abrupt, starting from Xiaojin's departure. There was one whip, followed by countless whips. The pain continued, like waves on the sea, hitting him with pain and humiliation. Lin Yu struggled violently, and his veins bulged as he tried to break free. The native on the opposite side was indifferent, whipping him like a machine. In less than a minute, the pain continued to torture him, and there was no good meat left on Lin Yu's body, as if a layer of skin had been peeled off. He couldn't stand it anymore, and his struggle became weaker and weaker. In a minute, all the pain, hatred, and futile struggles were exhausted. Lin Yu fainted. Not long after, he woke up again. It was still the native. This time he lit a fire on the side, with meat on it, sizzling and oozing with oil, and the fragrance filled the entire underground stone chamber. When he opened his eyes, it was still the native's indifferent profile, and the roasted meat was sprinkled with salt. The native started eating. He ate in a barbaric way. Lin Yu had no appetite, his lips were pale, and he was weak due to excessive bleeding. Every breath was heavier than before. The native finished eating, moved his body, and faced Lin Yu. "Tell me, what is the purpose of controlling the alien beast?" He actually spoke in human language. He said what he wanted to say the most at this moment, and Lin Yu could speak again. He wanted to continue to curse, but his mouth could not move again. "It seems that you are unwilling to cooperate with me. Is it not painful enough?" Lin Yu was panting after speaking, and suddenly he became much weaker, and his face flushed. And he seemed to have only time for one sentence. "There are creatures like alien beasts all over the continent. Some of them will attack humans, while others will not. We have lived here for who knows how long, and you have been slaughtering and controlling alien beasts. However, alien beasts can get along with each other. You don't know how powerful alien beasts are. They are no different from humans, or even smarter. They have powerful innate skills. In many places, humans and alien beasts get along well. And you have broken this order." Lin Yu had no way to think, and the pain had taken over his whole being. The native stopped talking. He used 2 sticks to pick up the stones in the fire. The stones, still covered with ash, were imprinted on the flesh and blood. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The body was smoking, and Lin Yu fainted after taking a look. The world went dark and chaotic, and his mind seemed to have turned into paste. After waking up, all kinds of emotions made it impossible for him to think. He didn't know what was wrong with the world. He didn't know why it was like this. He wanted to break free. A long time passed. The blood scabbed, and the native came again. This time he said, "My name is Kija, and I am best at torturing people." Then, the pain came again. Perhaps because he was used to it, he didn't feel that much pain this time. Lin Yu was still awake. The natives gave Lin Yu something extremely bitter, which made him forget the pain temporarily. Then they sprinkled medicine on him, and Lin Yu's injuries were recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 36. Lin Yu didn't know why the native did this, but an idea came to him. Maybe after he recovered, he would be tortured again, and so on. It's brutal, bloody, and almost breathless. Lin Yu wanted to roar. He couldn't feel the change of time in the stone room, but he felt that a long time had passed, a really long, long time. He was forced to eat something and regain some energy. After applying that medicine, some blood scabs fell off old and new wounds, revealing pink skin. Then, repeatedly, several times after that, the natives asked a question. Why do you control strange beasts? Lin Yu just scolded him hard, but later on, he didn't have the strength to scold him anymore. The natives used various torture methods, and in the end, Lin Yu's whole body began to fester. Death is approaching. The native asked a different question this time. Do you regret it? Lin Yu lowered his head, his disheveled look completely different from before. Oh! Lin Yu smiled, as if he was crazy. The natives also laughed. Everything around him was disappearing, and he vaguely saw the native giving him a thumbs up. The world turned black again. Lin Yu felt as if he had fallen asleep, sleeping soundly, as if he was lying on a big bed, which was extremely soft and comfortable. It's so comfortable that you don't want to wake up. His eyelids blinked. Everything you see is green, and you breathe some humid air. He suddenly recalled everything in the stone room, and subconsciously exerted force on his palms before he felt that he was holding something in his hands. It's a beast taming capsule with a pattern of a bear on it. Lin Yu activated the beast control capsule without hesitation. The earth-shaking bear appeared in front of him, still looking the same. The wounds on his body had healed a little. The most important thing was his eyes, which showed loyalty and intimacy. Lin Yu breathed a sigh of relief. This is the most important lesson, and nothing is more important now than this look. He waved at it, and Xiao Jin came over. Pluck the tree. Xiao Jin directly cut down the big tree next to him. It's still a familiar method. My heart calmed down. Only then did Lin Yu realize that his clothes were dirty and stained with mud, and his hair was also like a chicken coop with leaves mixed in. He brushed his hair and swept the leaves and other things off his head. There were many scratches in places not covered by clothes, even a few on his face. What puzzled Lin Yu was that even though he had suffered inhuman torture and nearly collapsed in that stone room, why did it turn into scratches now? And why was he now in the forest again despite being in that stone room? The pain was gone, but that feeling still remained in his heart, making it unforgettable for the rest of his life. Why is that? The system prompts. Congratulations on getting Hunter's Notes. Special treasure. This is the handbook of ancient hunters. They hunted and protected strange beasts. This is a treasure accumulated by generations of ancient hunters. Time goes back to the morning 3 days ago. Lin Yu went out. The original plan of the 6-person team in the castle was to rest. It would be hard for them to do anything without their master, not to mention there was nothing to do here. Yun Qi's injury has not yet recovered. He lost the wheelchair made by Zuzu yesterday. Zuzu was very sad. The two of them were arguing here early in the morning. Yun Qi said, "I don't need this thing." And Zuzu answered him, "I am doing it for your own good." A very classic sentence. Lin Yu was the first to get up in the morning. He put a basket of fruits in the hall so that they could eat some fruits to satisfy their hunger when they woke up. Most of these fruits were not only good at satisfying their hunger. After waking up, Yun Qi sat on a chair and argued on a pillar. No one bothered him, and everyone was busy with their own things. After a long time, Lin Yu didn't come back. Xiaoi was the second one to wake up. When he woke up, Lin Yu was about to go down the mountain. Lin Yu told her that she might come back in the morning, or he might come back soon, and asked Xiaoi to tell them. At the same time, he pointed at the fruits of different colors placed on the side. When Xiaoi thought of that scene, it was already approaching noon. She made an excuse, saying she was going down the mountain to collect something, and she brought a strange beast out, but no one thought it was inappropriate. Then, Xiaoi started a wandering search. She went down the mountain to look for Lin Yu, but she found no trace until she walked down the mountain. Later, he waited at the foot of the mountain for a long time before returning to the top. He told me this morning that he would be back in the morning. He must have gone out for something. In the evening, everyone sat around the campfire. Xiaoi said that she was making soup, big bone soup, and Xiaolabo was staring at the soup without taking his eyes away. She was the only one who answered Xiaoi's words, "What next?" Anyway, nothing will happen to him with his strength, unless he goes deeper into the Qinggu Mountains, Xiaoi pouted. Ouch. Little Carrot leaned over. Zuzu was grilling meat. In this state, he had cut off everything from the outside world, and Yun-Chi was carving with a knife. It's just the two of them here. Honestly, are you interested in Brother Lin? Xiaolabo sat next to her and lightly touched her with his shoulder. Ah! Why do you say that? Xiaoi stirred the bone soup twice with a wooden spoon, and then turned to look at the radish. Actually, everyone knows that you went down the mountain at noon not to pick things, but to find Brother Lin. Oh okay, Xiaoi's sight returned to the pot. Hey, are you listening to me? Xiaolabo snatched her spoon, snorted, and pouted her red lips. Xiaoi giggled and rubbed Xiaolabo's face. Yes, Sister Labo, why did you snatch my spoon? You didn't answer my question. I know. You have it, so you deliberately avoided it, it must be like this. Xiaolabo laughed, looking a little malicious. She wanted to continue. Stop, what feeling? Maybe a little, it's hard to explain, we have only known each other for a short time, only you, Sister Labo, are anxious. Hey, you girl, Sister Labo cares about you, but you don't know what's good for you. Okay, Xiaoi dragged the word bar for a long time. Thank you Sister Labo. Okay, you are so hypocritical. Actually, Brother Lin is pretty good. He saved so many of our lives. It's only natural for you to marry him and have children. Little Labo looked at the stars in the sky. Xiaoi blushed and said, Tisk, will you give birth to a child for Brother Yunkai? I'm younger than you guys, it's still early. Guess. You're still young? That's a matter of time. Sister Labo is really worried about you. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 37. It was the afternoon when Lin Yu killed the Iron Bear. The system prompted the first player to kill the high-level beast. The whole world chat, the regional chat, and even the players' word of mouth were talking about the Chinese player with the nickname No Comb middle part. Some people were talking about how generous the system reward he got. Some people said that he cheated and did not kill it by his own strength. Some people said that he was lucky. Lin Yu didn't know all this. It was the afternoon of the third day. Lin Yu was still checking the special treasure he had just obtained, Hunter's Notebook. The so-called notebook is a handwritten letter. That is, a handwritten letter. It was written by the first generation of ancient hunters. It was originally intended to be written to the leader of the tribe, but something unexpected happened and it was not sent out. After the ancient hunter died, his descendants found the letter, which wrote everything about the ancient hunter. Since it was a relic, the descendants kept it. After that, the tribe was in a period of chaos. Ancient hunters are a kind of inheritance. They have appeared since a long time ago, and their origins can no longer be traced. The chaos in the tribe did not affect them, because where did the ancient hunters live? In the deep mountains and old forests, with powerful beasts as companions, most tribes are close to mountains and rivers. Ancient hunters were once in the tribe, so they were considered cooperative relationships. Ancient hunters knew many rare herbs and spiritual fruits, and also had strange means. Ancient hunters would pay tribute to the tribal leaders, and sometimes they would select suitable children from the tribe to take away. For the residents of the tribe, ancient hunters are mysterious guardians, and are honored as guardian gods. They are the ones who fight against powerful beasts in the mountains and protect the tribe. It is a very honorable thing to be selected and taken away by the guardian god. Then the whole family will be protected by the entire tribe, and they will have no worries about food and clothing for the rest of their lives. Now, the tribe has evolved into the appearance of a city, and the residents in it have long forgotten the ancient hunters. That's why there is the word ancient. At the beginning, the two words ancient were because of the long inheritance, and now, it has really become long. On the system panel, the image of the hunter's notebook slowly rotated on it, and black streams of light surged around. The notebook was written on animal skin, and the surface had turned yellow. It was a yellow color that made people feel that this thing was an antique at a glance. At the beginning, a paragraph of text appeared on it, which introduced the brief history of ancient hunters. The source could not be traced, but the inheritance of ancient hunters was cut off 1.1 million years ago. The reason for the cut-off was not mentioned, which was puzzling. There were 4 small round gems of different colors on the notebook, which should be inlaid on it. According to Lin Yu's understanding, this is the case. These 4 gems have no function, they are just simple decorations, but there are words behind each gem. I don't know what the original text on the notebook is, Lin Yu can't understand it, but fortunately the system has a translation function. Behind the first gem is written the words of the last generation of ancient hunters. Behind the second gem is written various mountain treasures. Behind the third gem is written mountain forest map. The fourth gem inheritance. I didn't expect the ancient hunter's notebook to be like this, with a line of words in the lower right corner. Think about the color of a gem, and you will naturally see the content of that item. Was it so intelligent a million years ago? Lin Yu was very curious about this ancient hunter. The most important thing was that he had a hunch that everything in the stone chamber was related to this so-called hunter's notebook. The first gem was white. Will the notebook really change its content as long as you imagine the appearance of white in your mind? After asking this question, Lin Yu closed his eyes and imagined a white thing, and then opened his eyes after confirming that the thing was white. The content of the notebook was indeed different. The gems disappeared, and then there were dense words on the notebook, and they were all ancient characters, which were completely incomprehensible. Lin Yu could only rely on the system. The content was as follows. I have to apologize to my ancestors first, and my sister. My sister always said that our generation can no longer be called the guardian god. The tribe has become completely strong and their power has been developed. As a result, my sister and I have not been out of the mountain for a long time. Once, I sneaked out and went to the tribal city. They lived well, and I felt relieved. Suddenly one day I thought that maybe this inheritance should really be cut off. My sister and I went to talk to the leader about this matter. He had even forgotten that the tribe used to have a patron saint. I reminded him and he remembered that this was a situation that had never happened before. I was very disappointed, and it seemed that something was empty in my heart. It was a long time later. The mountain was in chaos, and it was useless for my sister and I to come forward. It was because the tribe wanted to fight for more territory, destroying the forest and slaughtering strange beasts. Later, the Beast King came forward, but he didn't solve the problem. I found the Beast King. The Beast King of this generation is Qinglong. He is considered to be a kinder generation among all the generations of Beast Kings. In fact, I didn't want to come. It was my sister. She said that we were once called patron saints. The honor given by people requires strength to protect it and repay it. In fact, there is no such thing as glory. That is the idea transmitted by my father. That is why he is called the guardian god, but we are not. People have forgotten that there are such people as guardian gods, which shows how comfortable they are. I told my sister that we have already come forward once, so we should not stick to others' cold butts again. But my sister insisted on doing this. You know how many strange beasts the Beast King has under his command. If we fail to persuade him and he vents his anger on us, we will not be able to bear it. In the end, I still came. I couldn't beat her. The Beast King was willing to negotiate, so I went to the tribal leader again. This man was too ambitious. After a few words, I knew what he meant. I didn't give up, but soon, I felt that I was wasting time. The leader finally got impatient and found a reason to send me away. The tribe really became powerful. They sent people to take away the Beast King's offspring. The Beast King was furious and led the Beast Kings out of the mountains. The tribe was slaughtered. The leader found me again, and this time he asked my sister and I to go out of the mountain. He led the remnants of the defeated army and fled all the way. He sent someone to list extremely generous conditions. I was tempted by this condition, but I am not such a fickle person. I wanted to refuse. The most helpless thing is that I have a conservative sister. But it is definitely not a wise choice to go against the Beast King. I don't allow my sister to take risks. She wants to go by herself. After some arguments, my sister insisted on going. This time I finally got angry. The guardian god has become a thing of the past. Glory is not something that can be eaten. I was taken in by my sister, but my personality is completely different from hers. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 38. I am not actually from the tribe, and my sister doesn't know, so she often argues with me about theories. I depend on her for life, and I love her very much. She took care of me, passed on the inheritance of the ancient hunter to me, and trained very hard. I like her sitting on the stone the most. The wind sometimes blows the hair on her cheeks, and I want to go up and kiss her. But she always looks at me with a doting look, bandages me when I am injured, and the warmth in my heart almost comes from this woman. I have never frowned at her, but this time is an exception. Everyone says that this generation of Beast King is kind, but can a kind person sit on the top of the cloud? I came to the old forest when I was very young. My sister's father, my godfather, went to pay tribute once and never came back. After that, my sister taught me all the inheritance of the ancient hunter. At that time, she was 16 years old and I was 10 years old. The breeze was just right. The accident almost made my sister collapse, and my godfather has been educating my sister to continue the glory of the guardian god. But I know that this time, the tribute was missing a lot of things, and many of them were guarded by the beasts under the command of the Beast King, and Godfather could do nothing. But this time, he got into trouble. The tribe sent news that he was attacked by a beast. But Godfather's strength, even if the Beast King came, he would not be in trouble. Unless there are several Beast Kings or the Beast King, this possibility will occur. When Lin Yu saw this, the content of the notebook was really like a story, spanning a million years of history. Lin Yu seemed to see that era, the 10-year-old boy, and the 16-year-old girl. I was worried about this matter. They stood outside the mountain, and my sister almost fainted when she heard the bad news. That picture is still very clear in my mind. My sister definitely knew that this matter was not as they said, it was a conspiracy. So I don't understand why she still insisted on her obsession and guarded the tribe. This time I still couldn't beat her. Now I think about it, this is something I regret a little. She looked like she was about to cry, and I really couldn't bear to see it. I promised her to talk to the Beast King and told her not to act rashly. As a result, she appeared during the conversation and said she wanted to protect the tribe. The Beast King thought I was playing a trick on him and attacked me directly. I couldn't beat the Beast King. Qinglong had lived for too long. I was only over 200 years old, just a fraction of him. I risked getting injured and wanted to take my sister away. She refused. She said she wanted to continue her father's glory. I really don't know what glory there is. Qinglong was already angry. He knew he couldn't kill me, so he attacked my sister. My sister was injured after fighting him. At this time, the tribal leader behind him appeared, claiming to surrender, and was willing to persuade my sister. I was angry and forcibly abducted my sister. When it was safe, I yelled at her, saying that you actually protected a person who might be the murderer of my father. It was the first time I yelled at her. She was really my nemesis. Later, we traveled around the continent, and I met a girl and fell in love with her. My sister also left at that time, leaving me a letter telling me to leave the heritage of the ancient hunter. I went to find her, but I couldn't find her. Later, I settled down in a small tribe. This is the history of the last ancient hunter. I am 2000 years old this year. When I was 500 years old, my lover left. My descendants have long been countless. I thought of what my sister said and wanted to find a descendant to leave the heritage. However, the title of ancient hunter was given by myself, and the guardian body was given by others. The so-called inheritance, in addition to skills, is to protect the tribe. Now the tribe is dead in name only, and the so-called glory is not necessary to guard. I think they should live the life they want, and leave some skills there. The inheritance, I named it Wujigong. Fated people, you see this, and I don't know what era you are in, and what the world will become. I am too lazy to think about it. If you meet people who practice Wujigong, they may be my descendants, and you should also take care of them. Well, finish reading my story. It is very long and ordinary. After leaving the inheritance, I set out on the journey to find my sister again. But I don't know where she went. I left the family when I was 600 years old. Now I am 2000 years old, and I haven't found her yet. In fact, I want to tell her that you should come out and live a new life. Maybe she came out, maybe she is already buried in the soil. I hope I can meet her again in the next life. The handbook is the inheritance left by my godfather. It is usually written when I am about to die. Destined person, I believe you have passed my test. That is the 9-color cloud fantasy fox I raised in my later years. It brought you into another world. It must feel bad. What you are stepping on should be my resting place. I have nothing. Leaving this handbook is also not disappointing my sister's expectations. In addition to their own strength, the ability of ancient hunters is also animal language. Through animal language, I have transmitted kindness to countless exotic animals and even taught them to learn human language. It can be said that animal language is the key to maintaining a peaceful relationship between us and the alien beasts. As for the title of hunter, it actually does not come from hunting alien beasts. There are black sheep among the alien beasts, which is nothing. We can kill them and it is okay. In many large mountain ranges, there live creatures from another world. I clearly saw that they walked out of an illusory door, carrying countless outside air. Wherever they passed, everything would turn gray, trees would die, creatures would die, and there would be no living things except them. The tribal leader thought we were fighting against the Beast King, but in fact, we were fighting against foreign creatures together with the Beast King. I will introduce in detail in the second item where there are gates to other worlds. If you accept the inheritance, I hope you can help my family. Some of them are fighting against the gates to other worlds, but this may be a fantasy. Maybe in your era, these have disappeared. Okay, one last word. Live the way you want. Finally, a line of words was written, an ordinary story. Don't say that the story of the last generation of ancient hunters can definitely be written into a novel in China. Lin Yu murmured, glanced at the content again, and let out a long breath. So the offspring of the strange beast you raised 1,000,000 years ago caused me to hallucinate and made me suffer for a long time, which is what you called a test. Then I saw your story. Doesn't it mean that I didn't pass the test, and the real, weird, and outrageous torture was in vain? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Sheng Chong. Chapter 39. Lin Yu shook his head, looking unwilling. But then he thought, this man is so powerful that he can fight the Beast King. He was only 100 years old at that time. When he was 500 or 1000 years old, he might be able to beat the Beast King. Is this inheritance so powerful? No wonder the system doesn't let me buy the Beast Taming Classic and the Blood King Sutra. It turns out that there are better ones waiting for me. No matter how powerful the system is, it can't predict that I will kill the Iron Skin Crazy Bear. If I don't kill the Iron Skin Crazy Bear, there will be no later things, and I won't get the Hunter's Notebook. In other words, this is an opportunity. What does the system have to do with it? Really? It seems that the suffering I suffered before was worth it. After all the hardships, this is a high-level inheritance. It can fight the Beast King. Although he didn't know what level the Beast King was, the Beast Lord should still have several stages to go before the Beast King. Lin Yu thought about the color of the second gem, opened his eyes, and the content changed. The second gem listed the rare treasures of many large mountains, the location of the gate to the other world, and many species that came to the alien beast continent from the other world, very detailed. Among them, he came here in his later years, that is, the Kingu Mountains, but this kind of mountain range may be no different from a human city for his strength. The resources of the Kingu Mountains are listed very clearly, and he focused on looking at which ones are useful to him. He has to become stronger, not only in conquering alien beasts, but also in improving himself. The content of the third gem is a mountain forest map. Lin Yu found the map of the Kingu Mountains, roughly judged his position from it, and then looked at the content of the fourth gem. Inheritance. This is the one with the most things. Ding. Lin Yu opened his eyes and the system sounded a prompt. Do you accept the inheritance? The voice was dignified and solemn. Lin Yu wanted to choose the yes option, but he calmed down and planned to see it first. What if the person in front was bragging? However, it was difficult to understand just by looking at the text description. Lin Yu decided to accept the inheritance. Not to mention the bizarre illusion, at least the system said it was a special treasure, which was not false. He chose the yes option, and then the system prompted, "Please be prepared." Lin Yu suddenly had an ominous premonition. In an instant, his head suddenly became heavy, and then it seemed as if his brain was torn apart. Some things passed through his mind over and over again. Fortunately, after Lin Yu had gone through the pain of the illusion, the tearing pain was nothing. Soon, the system sounded another prompt. Introduction to Wujigong. Mastering the Beast Language. Introduction to Sword Skills. Introduction to Alchemy. Introduction to Alchemy. Lin Yu narrowed his eyes and carefully felt his body. It seemed that there was really a faint energy wandering in his body. He was a little excited. After all, he had read fantasy novels for so many years, and he finally became one. A practitioner. It felt like a dream come true, which was delightful and unexpected. When Lin Yu read the inheritance content again, he no longer couldn't understand it completely, but he could understand some of the clues. However, it was obscure and difficult to understand when he read it further. As for the beast language, Lin Yu tried it directly with Xiaojin. Xiaojin told him that it was hungry, and Lin Yu said that he would leave this place immediately. In order to test the knife skills, Lin Yu had drawn a silver-level standard knife in the lottery, which happened to be used. The main reason why he used the sword before was because many of the protagonists in fantasy novels used swords. He imagined whether he could fly with a sword one day. However, when the store was first released, he wanted to buy the Blood Emperor Sutra to fulfill his fantasy, but the system would not let him buy it at all. There are many knife skills in the inheritance, which are accumulated by countless generations of ancient hunters. The system automatically selected the strongest one. Did all ancient hunters use knives? There were no swords. Lin Yu took out the knife from his backpack and thought so in his heart. As soon as he held the knife, a feeling of integration instantly spread throughout his body like an electric shock. He stepped on his feet, moved, and swung the knife in his hand, followed by one knife after another, with fierce attacks and retreats for defense. Lin Yu was like an experienced swordsman, and his moves were so skilled that he was surprised. Is this the system? A moment of time has become muscle memory, which is simply unexplainable in China. This is just the first move of this method called Tianyi sword method, crouching dragon, and residual moon. This move has 1,000 ways to change the moves. If you practice all of them until you have mastered them, you will be considered to have entered the Tianyi sword method. If you practice this by yourself, you will have to practice it until the end of time. As for alchemy, it is very complicated. Alchemy is the hobby of the last ancient hunter, and it is also included. In addition, it is best for people who practice Wujigong to refine a Wuji knife by themselves, so that your strength can be exerted to the true peak state and the complete state. Alchemy has written how to refine, and Lin Yu really wants to try it. These things will be studied after we return. After putting Xiao Jin away, Lin Yu released the Qing and ran faster. An extremely rare beast, the 9-colored cloud fantasy fox, has been detected. Beast, 9-colored cloud fantasy fox, high level level 8, level 38. Qualification, unable to determine. A level 38 beast. A snow-white little fox emerged from the bushes in front of him. Its eyes were rolling around, and its tail had 9 colors, which was beautiful and amazing. This one should be the descendant of the 9-colored cloud fantasy fox raised by the last ancient hunter in his later years. After all, 1,000,000 years have passed, and this one is so small that it is probably far from adulthood. This kind of strange beast was evaluated as extremely rare beast by the system, so Lin Yu naturally didn't want to let it go, but he couldn't subdue it with the beast controlling capsule. Even if it was silver level, it could only subdue strange beasts that were 15 levels higher than its own level, which was 35 levels at most. What surprised Lin Yu was that the system did not determine the qualifications of the 9-colored cloud fantasy fox, and only displayed the 4 words unable to determine. Thinking about it carefully, it is not unreasonable. After all, the strange beasts that followed the last ancient hunter would not be ordinary. Lin Yu decided to communicate with the 9-colored cloud fantasy fox in animal language. Hello, my name is Lin Yu. Human, is my illusion very realistic? The 9-colored cloud fantasy fox shook its tail gently from a distance. Don't tell me you entered my illusion, Lin Yu said. The 9-colored cloud illusion fox seemed to be offended by this, and said with disdain, I will not enter your illusion. In fact, mine can keep you from leaving. Your scratches are the most obvious proof. Survival of the Beasts, Awakening the Beast Taming System at the Beginning. Author, Ji Chang. Chapter 40. Twin Peaks Castle, 6 people on the top of the mountain sit at the door every day to enjoy the breeze. This is the 3rd day. In the afternoon, there is still no one at the intersection uphill. Until the afternoon, Xiao I was walking the monkey, and a familiar boy came to the gate. The top of the mountain became lively. Lin Yu told them that he was chased by a group of strange beasts and accidentally lost his way. He walked for several days before returning. When someone asked him what happened to his wound, Lin Yu replied that he ran too fast and fell. No one said anything. Yun Qi's wound was almost healed. Zuzi had nothing to do and cut a crutch for him, saying that he should pay attention to safety. Zuzi always likes to do these bad things. As a result, Yun Qi broke the crutch in front of him and threw it aside. On July 4th, the day after Lin Yu came back, they left the top of the mountain together for the first time. The surrounding area was radiated and began to clean up, and Lin Yu also showed his beast language. The mid-level beasts were not very intelligent, but they could understand. It was naturally cool to show off in front of everyone. Originally, the beast was about to run away, but Lin Yu managed to bring it back and put it into the beast controlling capsule. He wanted to fill the Twin Peaks with mid-level beasts, but of course this was just a beautiful vision. With the Twin Peaks as the center, Lin Yu and others spent 3 days to clear out the surrounding beasts. It was rare to see mid-level beasts active here. There were a few fish that slipped through the net, and they would probably tell other companions that there was a group of humans nearby who were doing all kinds of evil. In recent days, the Twin Peaks have ushered in a peak period of beasts. There are more than 10 mid-level beasts on both mountains. This number will increase. Lin Yu felt that the quantity could no longer satisfy him, and he needed a qualitative transformation. In the short 3 days, Lin Yu was promoted to another level, but the difference between level 24 and level 20 was actually not that big. On this day, people just woke up from the early morning. A day's plan starts in the morning, a year's plan starts in spring. On a stone, Zuza stood on it, holding a book in his hand and reading aloud. Not long after, Xiaoluo stretched at the gate. Seeing Zuza reading aloud, he went over and stared at him, but didn't say a word. After Lin Yu simply washed up, he ran to the watchtower to study alchemy. Many things in the system, such as elixirs, potions, and many other things, can be made through alchemy, and what the system doesn't have, the alchemy has, and what the system has, the alchemy also has. And buying things in the system requires survival coins, and the way to obtain survival coins is to exchange them with resources. Lin Yu didn't think it was not worth it, but because alchemy was also an interesting thing, but he didn't have a teacher who jumped out of a ring like in fantasy novels. But he had a system. The system couldn't help him learn alchemy, sword skills, and Wujigong. In fact, Lin Yu has a wide range of paths and many skills to learn, but the fundamental is the system. Without the system, he probably can't even get started now. The sun rises, and the sky is blue. A little fox with a 9-colored tail crawled over from somewhere. Lin Yu glanced at it and communicated with it in animal language. "Why, you can't bear to leave your nest. Who can find that damn place? Human boy, I have lived longer than your grandfather's grandfather's grandfather. Where do you get the courage to talk to me like this? Have you forgotten what it feels like in the illusion?" Lin Yu listened to his voice and couldn't tell the gender. Animal language doesn't actually require vocalization, but through the vibration frequency of the mouth. The complexity of this is hard to describe. Every generation of ancient hunters has to learn for a long time before they can barely master it. Only Lin Yu was an accident, and he never regarded himself as an ancient hunter. "Okay, I won't force you, but I know how to make medicine. Tisk, this medicine is really all-encompassing. There are some diagram potions in it, which are really helpful for exotic beasts. There are also some lord potions, which can help high-level exotic beasts break through to the level of exotic beast lords. This is really, I can only give it to my bears, monkeys, and lions." Lin Yu looked so sorry that the 9-colored cloud fox squeaked. "Boy, this seat, no, I just said that we should respect each other. We agreed before that it is a cooperative relationship, which is different from your exotic beasts. And the Lord potion was given to the bear too early, and its achievement is probably only the Lord." The 9-colored cloud fox shook its tail, and its tone changed a lot from before. Lin Yu smiled and nodded slightly. I tell you, I am very powerful. Even if I can control the alien beast lord, as long as he is not too strong, I can let him enter my illusion. And now, you only have a stupid bear that has just transformed into a high-level alien beast. Our cooperation is a strong alliance. The most important thing is that I want to go to the human city to have a look." The 9-colored cloud fantasy fox was quite sincere this time. Lin Yu looked carefully, his eyes sweeping around. "Okay, but if we cooperate, some of my friends may recognize you. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, you should try to show up less or follow behind from a distance," Lin Yu said. "Indeed, I am too eye-catching, after all, my bloodline is too high, but it doesn't matter, I can transform into a human." The 9-colored cloud fantasy fox said something shocking. Lin Yu was surprised and said, "Can you transform into a human?" Of course it sounded quite proud. "But, you are high level, only some powerful lords can transform into human appearance. Tisk, I can change it at will. After saying that, a person who looked exactly like him appeared in front of Lin Yu. How is it? The most amazing thing is that his expression and voice are different from his own. Is the nine-colored cloud fox so amazing? No wonder even the last ancient hunter, who can fight with the Beast King, wants to play with the nine-colored cloud fox. Lin Yu said, change your appearance. Oh, I forgot to ask you, are you male or female? I am a male. Okay, then you become a human female. You are provoking me. You have to remember that we are cooperating, you have to be sincere. Let's do this. I remember that except for some rare beasts, the beasts like you can only change into one appearance, which is directly transformed from bloodline. Otherwise, you can do the same, which is convenient. No, I promise you don't want to see that appearance. Okay, stop talking nonsense, and save your time thinking about who to change into. Isn't this good? Lin Yu coughed twice, his face serious. The nine-colored cloud fantasy fox paused, and then changed into. Lin Yu's brows suddenly frowned.